One of the most advanced features of Newired are actions, and what actions allow you to do is to base some rules so that some steps may be changing depending on the kind of rules that you give it to. Let me give an example. What we might have is that you are going perhaps into the login process and you don't put the correct credentials. By using actions over here, you're able to go back to the steps, to the first steps, so that you continuously go through the login process until you actually make it correctly. How to actually do something like this? So first of all, I would expect, so we have our login journey, and inside the login journey, let's just go through it. We start by typing the username here, and then we have our password, and on purpose I will put the wrong password. So I click login, and over here of course it's saying congratulations, even though I didn't successfully access the environment. So how can I recognize these kind of cases? We will have to create another step which will be based on this step, on this text. So it will be a skippable step which contextually appears only in the case that this is displayed, and once this is displayed, we'll also have the journey go back onto itself to the first step. So in order to create some step like this, I will have to create after the click here. So after the click login, I will click a plus button here. So in this way I can create a step in the middle of the journey, and I will create a callout, attach it to my text over here. So over here I will say, hey, it seems that you inserted the wrong credentials. Let's go back. And I will open my big editor. Now inside the big editor, I can access the action tab. Now keep in mind that before, to be able to use actions, you either have to use the transition of type next or the transition timing. So in this case we'll use the next button, and we'll add an action. So if this step appears, so I also need to put it as skippable, because in the case that you do the login successfully, this step shouldn't appear, also because this doesn't appear. So I will simply put step is skippable. I will maybe move it on the top, yes, and I will create an action. So now in my action, I will click on the plus, and I can define the kind of action. Now we have multiple kind of actions that we can attribute to this specific step. You can stop the journey at all, so the journey would automatically close itself. You can jump to step, which is the one that we'll use now, and you can also play another journey. In this case we want to jump to our first step, so I will put the jump to step 1, and I can also select the step on which I want to jump to. But in this case it makes sense to be 1, because I want to make sure to review also both username and password before clicking again. And I can also add rules. Now in this case, I know that if the step appears, it will be because it's attached over this text. So I don't actually need to define any additional rule. So I have my jump to step 1, and it is already skippable. And let's see what happens now. So it will go next. So if this appears, it will say, hey, it seems that you inserted the wrong credentials. Let's go back. And once you click next, it will go to step 1. Now let's simulate it and see first our first if the process is done correctly. So I start typing demo start, I put also my password, and I do this correctly. and I click here, you see that step 4 has been skipped and it goes straight away to congratulations. But in the case that I play my login journey and I do the wrong process, so I type dem instead of demo and then press on login, it will recognize that this is appearing. Say to me, notify, hey, these are the wrong credentials, let's go back, and as soon as I click next, it will jump again into the step 1. So you can see it will go around in a loop if the step 4 appears, in order to correct our mistakes and go through one more time. So now I type my correct credentials, I click login, and it will skip. Now, didn't actually skip because there is on the click transition we have on the click here for the login we have the click transition. So what we can do to improve this is that we'll use, instead of the click transition, we'll change it to URL change. In this case, it will recognize and go next to the next step as soon as you are inside the application, or as soon as the URL changes. So let's simulate it one more time. So we play it. I type my wrong credentials here, password, and click here. Now it appears. I go next. It will jump back to step 1. I go again and fix my password and username, and then click on login, and now it will skip step 4 and go straight to step 5. So we can see that with step actions you can have contextual elements, contextual skippable steps, which allows you to have the journey actively behaving based on whatever you're doing inside the application.